getting a lot of people asking me how I made my seashell necklace that I wear in a lot of my videos, and today I'm going to be showing you exactly how I did that. I'm going to be using a different seashell than the type pictured here, but you can feel free to use whatever kind you would like. You just have to make sure that it has a hole drilled into it. Also, this isn't hemp right here, but in the tutorial I will be using a hemp cord. That way you can swim with the necklace. And feel free to mix up the colors of that, and also feel free to mix up the colors of the beads. To make this necklace, you will need some hemp cord of your color of choice. You will need a seashell with a hole drilled into it, or a natural hole. You will also need a lobster claw hook, a pair of scissors, some clear transit string, and of course, some mermaid treasures, pearls, and beads. The first step in making your mermaid necklace is to measure out the length of hemp cord that you need. This will depend on how long you want your necklace to hang, but I'm going to start with at least 2.5 feet worth of hemp cord. Once you have your hemp cord cut out to the length that you would like, take your seashell and wind the cord through the hole in the shell. And line your ends up. For this next step, I'm going to make a hangman's noose out of the hemp cord. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, and you could just tie these two pieces together like this and pull, but I like the way the hangman's noose looks. It reminds me of the sea and the ocean, so I'm going to make one of those. If you don't know how to make one, I will show you in this video, and if you still don't understand it, I will have another video that I'll post right in this little box here showing you exactly how to do that. To make this noose, I'm going to pull one end out a little further than the other, and then I'm going to line them up, take the one that I pulled, and I'm going to stick it right back and make this S shape, like this. Now pinch all the ends together. Now, take this piece here, it's on top, and wind it around all of the other pieces until you have 7 little loops. See how I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. Then I have this 8th one here. What I'm going to do with this one is grab it, pull this string back, but make sure you don't let go of that loop there. And I'm going to wind it through this part right here. And press it down. Just make sure that you have it held in place and it's not going to go anywhere. Now find one of these right here, and you're going to want to find the one that will make these strings pull in. So I think it's this side here. Take some figuring out. There we go. And you just keep pulling that tight, and as tight as you can get it. Now you have a really big loop here. Now find the string that's going to pull this loop and make it smaller. I think it's this one here. Yep, there we go. I'm going to adjust the loop to the size that I want it to be. Right about there looks good. Next, find a bead that catches your eye and find the string that adjusts the loop. Now take your bead and put it onto the part of your hemp cord that adjusts the loop of your noose. Just like that. After that, take both ends of your hemp cord, pinch them together, and tie a knot right here. Pull that knot so it lines up right with the tip of this bead. Just like that. This next step is optional, but I'm going to do it anyways because I think it looks really cool. I'm going to take each side of my hemp cord and I'm going to tie a knot in it. And I'm going to tie the knot, about 2 inches away from this base bead here. Measure up on the other side and tie a knot that is the same length away from the bead. Next, take a pretty bead of some sort and put one on each end of your hemp cord. Put on more beads if you'd like, but I think I'm just going to stick with the 2. And now I'm going to tie off the cord. When you're finished stringing beads onto your necklace, now take your lobster claw hook and tie it onto one end of your hemp cord. You can make another noose here if you'd like, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to just tie a knot just like this. Move over to the other end now, and we're going to tie a loop that this claw can hook onto. So pull your string out, both sides, and pull the side of the lobster claw hook out so it lays in a straight line, and take the other end of your hemp cord and create a loop that is about the same length as the tip of this lobster claw hook. Now it's time to tie that. You can make a noose again if you'd like, or you can just tie a basic knot, which I'm going to do here. Because I'm a bit paranoid, I'm going to go over to both ends of the hemp cord and I'm going to tie another knot in them just to make sure that the cord doesn't come apart. Not really necessary, but I just like to do it anyways because it puts my mind at peace. And as you can see here, I have a few little dangly pieces of string left over. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. I made my necklace pretty short, kind of like a choker, just because I like the look of that vest. But you can make your necklace whatever length you'd like. So go ahead and cut those strings. And there you go, you have yourself a beautiful mermaid necklace. You can stop there if you'd like, or you can move on to the next step, which is going to be adding some beads to the inside of your shell. So if you'd like to do that, stick around and you'll learn how to do that next. To add beads to the inside of your seashell, take some of that transit string that I mentioned earlier and cut yourself a length of that. Now grab that string and wind one part through the loop end of your noose, right here, and then line up the edges and pull. Pinch the 2 pieces of the transit together and we're going to tie them in a knot. Once you have your transit string knotted off, you can go ahead and add beads to the strings however you would like. Be creative with the pattern and feel free to mix up the colors and add pearls and gems and whatever catches your eye. make a mermaid seashell necklace. Thank you everyone who requested that I make this video. I'm sorry it took me so long to get around to it. Thank you guys for being patient. I appreciate that. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends. This is a nice, quick, and easy project that can be made on a summer afternoon. And then, heck, you can throw it on the next day and go for a swim. I will see you guys next Wednesday on The Magic Crafter. Until then, don't forget to live life magically. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this project, and take care everyone. Bye.